I'm Matthew Weber, and today I am with Judy Harvey, who is the Communication Arts, Spanish, and some dual credit course instructor here at Atlanta C3. Mrs. Harvey has many years of experience in the classroom, but she's also a champion within our district when it comes to curriculum development and implementation. She's decided that next year is going to be her last year in the classroom, so the pressure is on for those of us who are new to get in there and learn as much from her as we possibly can. So thanks for taking time to talk with me today.
You're welcome.
And would you start out with just telling us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in teaching?
Okay, I always wanted to be an English teacher, and so that was my dream from the time I was probably 5th or 6th grade. I had a wonderful 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Thompson, who taught me everything I know about English and grammar, and so I always wanted to do that, but life kind of intervened, and I got married very young and had 3 children, and so I didn't get to go to college for a long time, and that really bothered me. And then I came to Atlanta as an aide for kindergarten class, and I loved it. And then the next year they had a student who was having some problems, and they hired me to be his personal aide and tutor, and I did that for 2 years, and I really liked that too, and was able to take him from barely being contained in a special ed classroom to the regular classroom. And then he moved away, which often happens when you have some success like that, or I don't know, struggling students sometimes move on to another town, so he moved away. And then I decided to go to school full time and go, and that time I was 36 years old, I think. And so I went to MACC for 2 years and then transferred to Truman, where I got my Bachelor of Arts in English and my Master's of Arts in Education. And then I came here as a teacher of record position, and this is my 19th year.
Wow. So through those 19 years, can you tell me a little bit about how education has changed, and how have you dealt with some of those changes?
Well, the testing has become a big monster to me. I don't know, it's become pervasive in all my classes, it seems like. Even the classes that aren't testing, we were affected by it. But I was in on the development of the MAP test, the Missouri Assessment Program. Every step of the way, I helped to choose questions, depth of knowledge, scored the test, and so I was very proud of that. And then recently they changed to the Common Core standards, and so the MAP was just pushed out the door. I don't know why. So yeah, that kind of bothered me. But I just do what I have to do. The skills are the same, pretty much. You want them to read well, write well, communicate well. There's just more technology. But I always embrace technology. I might not be a master at it like you are, but I can use technology pretty well.
So with the changes then in the classroom, with education itself, how about relationships with students? How have those evolved and changed as the years have gone? Are you able to have the same kind of relationship with a student now in your 19th year of teaching as you were with a student in the very beginning of your career?
Well, I told Mr. Perkins recently, I'm not the favorite anymore, and that's okay with me. You know, I used to kind of be maybe more of a buddy, or I feel like I always tried to educate them, but I was maybe more of a buddy, and I don't have to do that. I need to just teach them the skills they need to know. And so they still respect me. I just got a thank you letter last week from a student who graduated from Mizzou with honors, and she was very kind and thanking me for being her mentor and helper and everything. But maybe, I think that's changed a little bit, where I'm more, I don't know, more strict maybe.
So you'd say your approach to teaching has changed more from the lens of teacher and friend to more teacher and mentor,
yes.
more in that regard.
Yes, I think
that's
so.
an interesting perspective. Because sometimes as a new teacher, I see myself desiring to be that teacher, but also that friend that they can. As a music teacher, it's a little different than a communication arts teacher, because there's sometimes more of a connection with music than there is with other subjects, and I remember the music room and the music teacher being kind of a haven teacher, so I want my music students to feel the same way. So it'd be interesting for me to see in 20 years of teaching where I'm at in that regard.
I feel I have a better relationship, maybe not better, but I do know my students better than, say, a math teacher or a science teacher, because of their writing.
Right.
I have them write and they express themselves, and that's
Right.
kind of like with the music, they can express themselves creatively, and
Okay.
so I do feel I know them better.
All right. So changing gears just a little bit, can you tell me how you have learned over the years to manage classroom management or tension within the classroom, whether it be students and you or tension among students, that type of situation? Can you help me out there?
I usually just try to diffuse it, sometimes with humor. Humor works. Not making fun of them, but just, you have to have a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
I do not let it go too far. That's the secret there. If you know, they're starting to argue, or I just go ahead and step in and say, okay, that's enough. Can everybody get along? Is that too much to ask? You know, we just use kind of humor and just move past it. You have to be, I use proximity control, where I just walk over and, you know, calm someone down or talk to someone. And if it's just the student and I with high school students, it's best to take them outside and right outside the door and talk sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with males, maybe that's sexist, but they have this persona that they're all big and bad, and if I take them out and talk to them about the problem, it's better than talking in front of their friends. Which is the same for the girls, I think, but just
it helps them save face.
Yes, they do.
Know.
Then they come back in and everything's all right, and
Mm-hmm.
it's usually better. So that's how I do that.
So, tension with students, can you kind of help me understand how in the past you have dealt with maybe an unhappy parent, or where there's some sort of tension between you and a parent, or a parent's not happy with a child's grade, or some sort of situation with a parent?
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I have only had one very small encounter with myself, and it was very much a deer in the headlights, you know, reaction.
Yes.
Very, very fight or flight, you know. I wasn't sure how to react to that. It caught me off guard. So how would you react?
I had an angry parent one time, and I actually just asked, well, what would you have me do? What would you do in this situation? And she didn't know either. She didn't have an answer for that. So that worked. I don't know if I use that every time, but I just said, what would you suggest that we do to help your daughter, you know? So I think that helped to give her some voice. And you just have to listen too. You have to give them the chance to express, you know, his or her opinion, and then try to diffuse it like that. I don't have too much conflict with students or parents usually.
That's good. That's good. And what I said earlier, I haven't either. It's just been one of those things where it makes me nervous to think about where what I might, how I would react if there was a really angry parent, you know, something had happened that it was, you know, beyond my control.
And you're down there by yourself,
and
kind
I am.
of.
My
yes,
room is
that's
all. My classroom is all alone. There's no one around me except for the cooks, and that's only half the day. So
yes.
I'm all alone for sure. Something that is new in Atlanta, sort of new, is we're using the Missouri ARC-Align program. What does the A stand for? I forgot.
Oh, I think it's just
something
alignment.
Resource
Or,
something. I'm not sure. It's curriculum.
Yeah.
It's curriculum, and I myself, that is a weakness area for me. I don't have, you know, a set of textbooks that go with my classes that helped kind of to give me a guiding. So I'm trying to align all of my classes to state standards with what I'm teaching. But I read the standard and I have to come up with the material to support the standard because I don't have that. Can you help me kind of understand the process that you go through when you are, you know, designing your curriculum and maybe helping another teacher with their curriculum? Because I know you've been integral in helping us really develop our curriculum program in Atlanta.
I do enjoy the curriculum writing process. Even though when I first started, there was a gentleman who'd taught here for a long time, and he would say, oh, they're just going to change it anyway. Why do we write it? And yes, I've written maybe 4 or 5 sets of curriculum using different standards and different formats and all that. But I do like the online one now. I think they have the ARC improved enough to where it's easier to use. I look at examples, for one thing. It really helps with my dual credit that the college pretty much tells me this is what you're going to teach. So I had to take that, but then I have to decide how to work with that. With other teachers, I try to find an example to show them, and then they plug in their own facts. So examples are good. I'm a researcher. I like to research and then jump in and do it. So first I research a little bit and get some ideas. My curriculum for my juniors this year, the first semester, I found some online I found some, I guess you'd call it curriculum. It wasn't like ours exactly, but it used essential questions. Have you ever heard of that? Essential questions, it's like trying to hook them in, you know, like who, you know, do men or women have an advantage in today's society? And then what you read goes along with that, but you get them applying it to them because
You make them think about it
Make them
before
think
they
about it.
before they actually.
And so it's called an essential question.
Okay.
I've worked hard on that, but yes, just it's overwhelming, and you just have to kind of keep changing as you go or adding. But we English teachers, we are kind of attached to our stories or our books or whatever, and that's not where we're going with curriculum. So I let go of that. I mean, I didn't even read any novels except we read in novels class, but other than that, that's what they need now. You know, they need more factual, informational technology.
So it's changing.
It's changing.
It's completely changed. Back to the earlier question, it's completely changed your approach, but also your content in your classes because of those changes.
I use a lot of technology, my smart board, my YouTube videos, whatever I can do, because I'm competing against all that, so I do much more of that. You know, the research paper project, when you were in high school, you made a poster about your research paper. Now they do a PowerPoint. Today they were presenting their research papers in PowerPoints with pictures, and it's just different. It's
completely different. Yes. It's remarkable. I mean, to give you a compliment, to someone who has been in teaching for that long, who embraces the technology aspect so freely, because I mean, there are some teachers who have been in it much less time than you, who are not so. As soon as you bring up technology, it's kind of hands up. I don't know what to do. They're scared of it, and it's you've always been kind of a leader when it comes to embracing new things. I think that's great.
I like to change.
A couple questions to wrap it up. A couple more perspective questions. What are some challenges that you wish that you had been prepared for at the beginning of your career?
I feel that I was not prepared for the classroom management, really. And I think most teachers are not prepared for that. We had little we'd teach a lesson, say at Truman, I taught a lesson to these students. Well, they were Truman students. They were sitting there listening. They weren't bad kids.
Right.
They weren't kicking under the table or doing anything like that, They were pretending to be interested, whether they were or not. So not enough of that, not enough classroom management. I worked as a substitute teacher, and that helped me. But with different ages and
if anything, will get you ready substituting well.
So that helps some, but we need to have some strategies on This Works or have smart discipline or tough love or something. We need to do more with that. I'd say.
I as a first year teacher, I would agree with that in some areas for sure. And some classes just naturally kind of manage themselves.
Yes.
And other classes, you don't know what you need, to manage them besides just praying for the bell to ring, sometimes.
And sometimes just a couple of students, but they can throw the whole class off.
Exactly.
So you have to learn how to try to catch them being good.
Very
Very
true.
Difficult to do.
If you could change one thing about the path that your career has taken, what would it be?
I would have started earlier. I would have started sooner. I just didn't know that there was money out there. We had 3 children. We weren't very wealthy at all. Didn't think we could afford it. And if I had known about the grants earlier, I would have started sooner. So.
Gotcha. Well, that's a very, very interesting viewpoint as well. So my last question to wrap up, what advice do you have for a new educator who is just now going into the profession? You will have been here 20 years. When you retire, you'll have 20 years under your belt. For someone who is green, fresh out of college, what advice do you have for us?
Oh, my. I would say keep your enthusiasm. Be enthusiastic. Be passionate about your subject, whatever it is you're teaching. And I can't say that I'm like that every day because, you don't feel well sometimes or something. But I try to be passionate about it. So I think that's part of it. Be prepared for extra work. Some people think it's a 8 to 3 job, and you put a great deal more time in that. Stay up, stay current with whatever's going on. I went to many in-services or meetings, about keeping up to date with everything. I think, and you just have to love it. You have to teach because you love it, not because, you want June, July, and August off. I saw Mug once and said there are 3 reasons I teach June, July, and August. I do not want that kind of teacher. So don't be that kind of teacher. So I don't know. I think that's a big part of it. Just be enthusiastic. Be prepared for some angst and work hard.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I don't think so. I think we need new teachers. I'm afraid we're going to not have as many, maybe because of all the testing or if they're going to judge teachers on test results. So I hope we still get, the pay, the respect.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we still have many new teachers coming along.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to need one.
Yeah.
When I retire, I need a good one to come back and replace me.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you again for taking time to talk with me, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank